all the arts, painting is the art that has most to do with the visual appearance of things. Paintings let us see things clearer than we can see them in real life. Cézanne's painting, which we've seen in a previous video, actually distorts reality in order to reveal reality. Reminds me of one of Picasso's sayings that art is a lie that tells the truth. Funny as it may seem, that mountain is actually clearer, much clearer in the painting, even though it may look a little bit out of focus, than it is in reality. Paintings have a kind of stop-action quality to them. They freeze things so that we have time to zero in and participate with them. In paintings, things stand still in a way that they never do in real life. Paintings have an all-at-onceness about them. They are all there in the here now, and therefore we can inspect their visual qualities at our leisure. Remember the parts that make up a painting, the lines, the colors, the textures, the lights, and the shadows. Those parts are also called elements. That's the stuff that the painter works with, what the painter organizes or arranges on the canvas. Now that stuff, those elements or parts, come from the visible world. The lines, colors, shapes, textures, and lights, and so forth that the painter is shoving around on the canvas are qualities or aspects of the visible world. And we call those qualities sensa. Sensa comes from the word sensation. We all have physical sensations. And sensa are the causes of our sensations. Sensa are those aspects or qualities of things out there in the world which stimulate our sense organs and cause us to perceive them. For the example, the color red is a sensa, a visible quality that we can perceive. Red could be attached to an object, like a red car, a red shirt, or so forth. Or red can be abstracted from objects. The color red can be taken off the car or the object and put on the canvas all by itself. What are the sensa, the lines, colors, shapes, attached to in Cézanne's painting? Objects. What are the sensa, the lines, colors, and shapes, attached to in Goya's painting? Well, objects plus an event. What has happened to the sensa in this Mondrian painting? They have been abstracted. So in effect, what we have here are two different types of painting. One, representational painting, which has as its primary subject matter objects and or events. And the content, of course, is the artist's interpretation of those objects or events. And two, abstract painting, which has as its primary subject matter sensa, which have been abstracted from objects or events. So abstract art has as its primary subject matter sensa. Sensa from the outside visible world, lines, colors, and shapes, which have been abstracted or taken away from the objects and the things to which they are normally attached. In an abstract painting, we no longer see the sensa as merely part of something else. We focus on the sensa all by themselves. And what happens when we participate with an abstract painting is that we are liberated or freed up from two things. One, the habit of seeing sensa merely as signs which point beyond themselves to the objects or events which they are normally a part of. We're driving and we come to an intersection. We see the color red and we stop. We put on the brakes. We see the color green and we go. We hit the accelerator. That's because we are in the habit of using the sensa, that is the reds and the greens, as signs pointing to something beyond themselves, as merely being a part of a stop sign or a directional signal. But abstract painting frees us from that habitual way of seeing, since they've taken the sensa off of the objects. Abstract painting also liberates us from the past and the future. We already talked about the all-at-onceness of a painting. That is, how everything is frozen inside the frame, how everything is all there for us to look at in the here now, in the present moment, while we're standing in front of it. May 3rd, 1808 is a representational painting. The primary subject matter is an event. This painting is self-contained. It has an all-at-onceness about it. It is all here for us to gaze at in the present moment, the here now. And yet, there's always the possibility that our thoughts, as we look at this painting, will start wandering back to the real event, that is, to Napoleon's soldiers invading Madrid. Or perhaps we will start thinking about other executions, other instances of human barbarity in other times and places. And when we let our thoughts wander like that, we are letting the past and or the future intrude into the here and now, into our present momentary experience of this painting. In other words, the all-at-onceness of representational paintings is somewhat compromised or weakened by the tendency of past or future comparisons to intrude into our participation. That is, even though there is a definite sense that this painting is all here, self-contained, right before our very eyes, so that we can leisurely gaze at it in the here and the now, in the immediate moment, nevertheless, there is still the possibility that we will drag in past or future associations which tend to dilute the all-at-onceness of the painting. Abstract art, however, gives us a very intensified sense of being in the here and the now. And that's because there are no objects or events to call up associations from the past or the future. The term we use for this intensified sense of being in the here and the now, in the immediate moment, that we get when we participate with an abstract painting is presentational immediacy, and that term is discussed in the book. Literally, the term means that everything on the canvas is being presented to us in the immediate now, without any chance for distractions. The sense of presentational immediacy that we get with abstract paintings is really just the sense of all-at-onceness, which all paintings have, carried to an extreme. Carried to the point where we are not allowed to drag in outside thoughts, because there's nothing on the canvas to stimulate any outside thoughts. No objects, no events, only Sensa. Okay, I know it seems like I've harped way too much on this idea that abstract art takes lines and colors and shapes off of real objects in the external world and plops them on the canvas in the here and now. But this is a key concept because it allows abstract art to become religious art, to transport us to the realm of the spiritual. Stay tuned to find out how.